Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to those in attendance and all watching on television or via the internet. I'm Paul Jones from the Raptors broadcast team, and again, thank you for being here and joining us today. Over the past several years, we've watched this team, the Toronto Raptors, and this city embrace winning at an extremely high level. And I believe it's fair for me to say that everybody is hungry for more. Today marks a new chapter as the Raptors progress towards reaching the ultimate goal of an NBA championship. Nick Nurse has been a big part of the team's growth in recent years and one of the bright strategic minds in the game today. More importantly, he's been a winner wherever he's coached. He ranks second all-time in NBA G League victories and is the only person to lead two different G League teams to a championship. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Raptors team president Masai Ujiri and Nick Nurse. Gentlemen, thank you for being here today. And now that the postseason has been completed and all the evaluations have been done, along with your due diligence, Masai, I guess we have a chance to look forward to the 18-19 season. I'll start by asking both of you a couple of questions. First, Masai, for you. You've now hired your first head coach as a general manager or as a team president. Can you walk us through the process that led to Nick being your first hire?
Thank you, Jonesy. First of all, thank you to everybody, the media, obviously MLSC. I thank everybody for being here on what we feel a special day for the Toronto Raptors. Congratulations, Nick. This is, I think, a great time for us. I want to go further on to thank everybody in our organization, everybody that put in the work with this, general manager, Bobby Webster, Dan Tolzman, Teresa Rush, and the whole staff, and to our ownership, Larry Tannenbaum. It's been a big process for us, a long process, but we've felt very comfortable with not only the candidates we had, but the eventual head coach of the Toronto Raptors. I think Nick didn't only show us some of the things that he's going to bring to us, but I think his history with the team, his thought process, his creativity, a strategist, I think, in the game. We're really excited. Communicator, motivator, I think innovative, everything, is something really exciting for us with this program. And a big congratulations to you, Nick. We're really excited, and it was a long process, but we're happy we came to this.
Nick, I know you've been waiting a long time for a head coaching job. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It was 27 years, I think, in coaching, and the last month was a long month for me as well. But as Masai said, him and Bobby, Teresa, Dan, had a process and some due diligence to do, and to be honest, it never really bothered me that month of waiting, and we met several times and talked things through thoroughly. I mean, it's a big decision for them, even though I've been across the gym for 5 years from them. There's a lot of detail to go through. I would like to kind of piggyback on Masai here too, Jones, if I could, and thank him and Bobby, especially, and Teresa and Dan, part of the process of getting me here, and thank Larry and the ownership group, especially Larry. I had a really, really nice visit with him just a few days ago, and it was really enjoyable. I mean, we all know what a great guy he is, and it was really fun to visit with him. Next, I'd like to thank the players. A lot of them we've been together here for 5 years, and as you mentioned in the open, that's 5 years of playoffs. That's 5 years of a lot of winning, and there's a core group of guys there that deserve our thanks each and every time we get a chance to say it. And I'd like to express that to the current roster. And there's also a young group of guys that people doubted what they could have done at the beginning of the year last year, and they really, for a 12-month process, worked extremely hard. And again, I'd just like to thank them for all their hard work.
I'm going to open it up to the general public and the general media in a second, but I've got one more. Nick, you've talked about that roster. You've inherited a very accomplished roster, and I guess the natural question is, what's it going to look like? What does a Nick Nurse team look like?
Well, I think, first of all, Jonesy, I think the game in general is changing so fast right before our eyes. I think it's changed so much in the last 5 years. It's changed so much in the last 3 years. So I think, the leadership that I'm bringing and the coaching staff that we'll eventually hire is we've got to be innovative, right? We've got to be trying to think of what's coming next before it comes next if you want to stay ahead of the game. And tried to bring some of that. I've tried to make steps in my career to continually learn and learn about this and learn about that and test this out and test that out and keep what's good and throw away what's bad, and so that's part of innovation. And I think Masai touched on it too. I think we want to be creative. I think you're going to see some different things. There's probably going to be some uncomfortableness at times when we try things that are maybe a little too far outside the box. But it's again, the season's a process. The summer league leads to training camp, and the training camp leads to preseason games, and the preseason leads to regular. We want to try some ideas and some things, and try to put our guys in different positions, try some different combinations, etc. To prepare us for the playoffs, which is what matters.
Great.
Yep.
Steph and Phil are out there, folks. Name, affiliation, and the floor is yours.
Congratulations, Nick. Masai as well. 27 years, Nick, how did you celebrate? What do you do when you get a job like this that you've been working for such a long time?
Well, it's I know it wasn't much celebration. It was kind of obviously call the people that are close to you first of all, and then the things start coming at you pretty quick and getting to work really. I'm not sure. I had a good celebration last week. Maybe pre-celebration. I had a nice trip to England with my son Noah, and we'll celebrate at some point. But we're working right now already.
Hi, Courtney with CP24. So you guys typically do very well in the regular season. The struggles come up in the postseason, right? So, Nick, do you feel you have a different enough voice from Dwayne Casey to kind of get the team over that hump?
Well, yeah. I think first of all, I need to mention Coach Casey and thank him. He's the one that originally brought me here as an assistant, and again, we shared a lot of winning together, and he's a competitive guy. He's a great professional. I learned a lot from him, and but, you can't take away the 5 years of what you've shared together. But again, mentioned it already. The success that we want to have is in the playoffs. That's what every team in the NBA goes for. And yeah, we need to make sure we try a few new things here and there. Try some different rotations. I think where you'll see most of that would be a little bit more creatively on the defensive end as the regular season, preseason, just so we can try and be ready for more things in the playoffs. I think the playoffs change so much what happens defensively. The games come at you so fast in the regular season that everybody's kind of playing their baseline philosophies so much, and it comes to the regular season, and all of a sudden you're trying to do some things that you haven't really practiced enough. And I'd hope we can do that and get some different looks at some things so we're ready to go on both sides of the ball.
Josh Lewenberg, TSN. Nick, congratulations.
Thank you.
Where do you see the biggest areas of adjustment transitioning from an assistant role to the leading role, especially making that jump in the same organization?
Well, first of all, you know this. This is really the only assistant job I've had. I've been a head coach for almost 20 years already. So running the team is, from a basketball standpoint, it'll take me a few games to get back up to speed with that with a 5-year layoff. But you know, this thing, and this is one of the biggest parts of the job, is it's a big management position from things other than basketball, right? The organization's big. There's a lot of departments, and there's a lot of things going on. So, you know, being able to manage all that and be the leader of all that is important. So I see that as probably getting used to that first and foremost, and making sure we can get the team to the floor to practice and the team to the floor to the games. That's kind of always been my motto of all the different strange jobs I've had. Is it didn't really matter much as long as I could get my team to the practice floor and my team to the game floor. We could get the basketball part right.
Eric Corrine, The Athletic, congratulations. You mentioned the staff. Is there anybody that you'd like to retain that's still currently here? And what are your general thoughts on what you want to add in terms of experience and resumes?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty early on all that, Eric. Again, it's now my chance to do some evaluating and looking and shuffling the pieces a little bit. I will say this. I think I'm going for a certain look to the staff. You know, I'm concentrating on the front of the bench guys now, and I think there's kind of some categories there that I want to fill, and I've kind of got a depth chart in those categories, and you know, we'll go from there. I think it's really important that we get an experienced staff. Guys that have been head coaches to me at some level is important to me. I'm not saying all of them are going to be that way, but I value head coaching. Just because it's good to know what it's like to be the decision maker and to have those guys that are assistants that have done that, and I just think that channels the ideas that they give you. They're more constructive. They're more objective. They understand your position a little bit better. So it's a little bit of a working process, Eric, but it should be moving along here pretty quickly.
Steve Lung from Sportsnet. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
You mentioned how like you wanted to make adjustments both defensively, offensively. Can you give us specifics? Like, would that be like more zone, a lot more threes? Just a sense of like how that's going to be.
Well, you know, let's just first talk about the offense. I mean, we think we know what our offense wants to look like, and made a big change to everyone's credit. You know, our fellow assistants this year, and Coach Case, DeMar, Kyle. I think to everyone's credit, we made a really nice adjustment for moving the ball. Our assist numbers went up. Our offense kind of held through in the playoffs by the numbers, even though, you know, again, all those statistics are a little. You know, you can read a lot into them any way you want to sometimes. But I just think defensively, there's so much. Again, the game's changing so much. There's so much switching going on. There's so much. You know, you got to figure out double teams, rotations, how you're taking away the three, how you're challenging shots, how you're protecting the rim. I just think there's a lot more creative ways being done right now, and I think there's some creative things to do that we can figure out, that we've kind of thrown out there, and we got to get our head around and polish up a little bit. Just to, you know, it all comes down to this. It all comes down to putting the players in the best position they can be successful, and that includes defense. You know, if a certain guy can't fight underneath the basket against a bigger guy, then, well, let's work on things to keep him on the perimeter. And I don't think zone's the answer, but I just think it's zone concepts combined with man concepts. And again, I'm trying to polish some of that stuff up, but I think you'll see us try some of it here in Summer League and in the preseason and in the regular season.
Hey, Nick, Dave Feshik from the Toronto Star.
Dave.
A long list of coaches have been relieved of their duties for not being able to get past LeBron James in this league. How would you have approached that Cleveland series differently than Dwayne approached it?
Well, I think, Dave, I'd like to answer that thing from, you know, assistant coaches have a lot of ideas that they give, and I really tried for the entirety of the time I was here to always give the best options, and then it's up to him to decide what to do, right? And I think the finals and our series had a lot of similarities to them, that we had that game won at home won it felt like about 6 times, and it got away from us. And I really think that changed the complexity of the whole series. And we saw it a little bit in the finals too, right? Where Cleveland had that thing won. And again, I don't really think they recovered from that. And the whole series could have changed from the complexity of it. And again, I think we battled. We came out in game 2 and had another nice lead. And I think that game got away from us a little bit at the start of the second, the end of the second, start of the third. And then I thought the way we played in game 3 in Cleveland was as hard as we'd played in 5 years. And if James doesn't make that shot or whatever at the end, maybe we get that game in overtime. And again, the series got new life. I don't know. I think we could have played better, Dave. Just individually, we could have played better. We could have coached better, and that's what we're going to try to do next year.
Thanks for coming today. And certainly exciting times as the Raptors move forward with a new chapter. At this time, we'd like to invite the cameras to join us for a photo opportunity with both Nick and Masai at the front. And then both gentlemen will be available for additional interviews after. Thank you.